kind of hard to tell from looking at it, but this is a new Navara, except it's the same as the old Navara. Same tough styling, same diesel engine, same basic setup inside. But what Nissan has done is listen to its customers who complained about soft and sagging suspension, especially at the rear, to make some pretty critical under the skin changes to this Series II Navara. This Series II Navara is still available in a mind-bending 30 plus trim and gearbox combinations, spanning single, king and dual cab configurations across a whole range of trim levels, but this update is largely reserved for the dual cab models. It's the most car-like of the Navara range, and while the interior hasn't been updated this time out, it's still a comfortable and refined space. But the big changes occur under the skin, where Nissan has fitted stiffer shock absorbers at the front and rear and tweaked the springs and rebound dampers at the rear too, all of which are to produce a far firmer ride. So what does all that mean from behind the wheel? Well, the first Navara, the Series I, got what Nissan refers to as the Southeast Asian tune, which basically means it arrived unchanged from the Thailand factory. But after complaints from customers that the suspension was too soft and sagging, especially under load, Australia's engineers had a lot more to do with the Series II, specifically surrounding the suspension tune. And the result is a car that feels stiffer at every wheel, with particular attention paid to the rear suspension. Now, we've spent our day carrying loads of around 350 kilograms, which it's only enough to really settle the suspension. It's certainly not going to put it under any kind of real pressure, so we'll wait until we get the car for a little bit longer to make any kind of definitive verdict. However, it does feel sorted under light loads. But there is a downside to all this new firmness, and that is when you're not carrying anything at all, it can feel a little skittish at the back and has a tendency to sort of skip over corrugations or rough road surfaces. The engine options are unchanged, and the pick remains the twin-turbo diesel, which is good for 140 kilowatt and 450 newton meters. And there's plenty of push-down low to get you up and moving, but it does tend to run out of puff as you gather speed, especially climbing from, say, 80 kilometers an hour to 110 kilometers an hour, which is even worse if you encounter a hill. The trade-off, though, is one of the more fuel-efficient diesels out there, so it will cost you less at the pump. Nissan sold more than 20,000 Navaras since this model launched in 2015. In fact, it's often one of the brand's best-selling models, so there is a lot riding on this. Now, we've only driven it for a fairly short period, and we'll wait till we get into the office for any sort of definitive verdict, but we can report that under light loads at least, it does appear to have sorted some of those sagging suspension issues. To read the full review, click here, and don't forget to subscribe to stay on top of all our latest videos.